The observation window felt cold against Ren's scales. He pressed his small, crimson body against the glass, staring into the medical room where his twin brother had died 3 days ago. Machines were gone now. The doctors had cleaned everything, but Ren could still smell Kane's sin in there, fading a little more each hour. Doctor Solace stood behind the young dragon, her long reptilian fingers tapping nervously against her data pad. She had tried everything, food that Ren loved, warm nesting materials, even bringing other dragon hatchlings to play. Nothing worked. The little one just stayed by that window, making soft crying sounds that broke the hearts of every species on the research station. He will die soon, Dr. Solace said quietly to the station administrator, of being made of crystal formations who hummed with concern. Twin-bonded dragons cannot survive separation. Their hearts simply stop. Down the hallway, past the fancy observation decks and scientific equipment, Owen pushed his father's cleaning cart. The wheels squeaked on the polished floors. He was supposed to be helping his dad finish the evening maintenance shift, but he kept slowing down near the xenobiology wing. There was something happening there. Lots of important-looking aliens gathering and talking in worried voices. Harold noticed his son lagging behind again. Owen, come on, we have 3 more sectors to clean before bed. Dad, what's wrong with the lizard thing? Owen had seen Ren through the windows during yesterday's shift too. The small dragon hadn't moved from that spot. He's not a lizard, he's a dragon hatchling. Harold stopped the cart and crouched down to his son's level. His brother died, buddy, twin brother, and now he's so sad that he's making himself sick. Why doesn't someone help him? Harold's weathered face softened. He recognized that look in Owen's eyes, the same look the boy had worn for months after his mother passed away. Some kind of sadness are too big for others to fix. Son, dragons bond with their twins before they're even born. Losing that bond is like losing half of yourself. Owen frowned and looked back toward the observation area. That's stupid. Someone should do something. It's not that simple. Different species grieve differently. What works for humans might not work for dragons. Harold stood up and ruffled his son's hair. Come on. We'll miss the transport home if we don't finish. They cleaned in silence for a while. Owen emptied trash bins and wiped down surfaces like his father had taught him, but his mind kept wandering to that small red dragon curled up by the window. He thought about how lonely he felt sometimes on the station. There weren't many other human kids his age. Most of the families here were scientists or diplomats. Nobody wanted to be friends with the janitor's kid. When Harold ducked into a storage room to refill supplies, Owen made his decision. He had watched his dad used the maintenance codes enough times to remember them. His small fingers flew over the security panel outside the xenobiology wing. Green light, access granted. The corridors here were quieter. Most of the scientists had gone home for the night. Owen walked slowly, reading the labels on each door. Containment room 7, that's where he had seen the dragon that he pressed his face against the small window in the door. There was Ren, even smaller than Owen had imagined, curled in the corner. The dragon's eyes were closed, but tears leaked from them, making wet tracks down his scales. His breathing was shallow and ragged. Owen didn't think. He just opened the door and walked in. The room Smelled strange, like minerals and something warm and alive. Ren didn't even look up when the door hissed open. The dragon just kept crying those silent tears, his body shaking with grief, too large for such a small creature. Hey, Owen said softly. He sat down on the floor a few feet away from Ren. I am. Owen, no response. The dragon's eyes remained closed. Owen pulled his knees up to his chest. I lost someone too. My mom, she got sick when I was 6. Doctors here tried to save her, but they couldn't. His voice cracked a little. I know it's not the same as losing a twin, but I know what it feels like when someone is just gone and there's this big empty hole where they used to be. Ren's breathing changed slightly, still shallow but maybe listening. The thing is, I don't have any brothers or sisters. It's just me and my dad, and he works all the time because we need the credits. So I'm alone a lot. Ow. Reached into his pocket and pulled out a small picture book, one he had carried since he was little. Want to hear a story? My mom used to read this to me. He started reading. His voice was young and sometimes stumbled over bigger words, but he kept going. It was a story about a lost star finding its way home. Owen had heard it 100 times, and it still made him feel better. For the first time in 3 days, Ren's eyes opened. Just a crack at first, then wider. He saw a small human child sitting on the cold floor reading from a worn book with careful concentration. The boy's scent was odd, chemicals and soap and something else, something like sadness mixed with hope. Ren uncurled slowly, his muscles stiff from staying in one position so long. He crawled forward, closer to this strange creature who wasn't afraid of him, who talked about empty holes and missing people like he really understood. The door suddenly hissed open again. Dr. Salas stood there, ready to scold whoever had breached her containment protocols, but she froze when she saw Ren moving. Actually, moving toward the human child. Behind her, Harold appeared, panic on his face. Owen, what are you doing in there? But Dr. Saw raised one hand, stopping him. She watched as Ren came right up to the edge of where Owen sat and looked at him with ancient, sorrowful eyes. The dragon opened his mouth and made a sound, not crying this time, something else, a question maybe. Owen smiled just a little. Do you want to hear more of the story? Ren settled down, still watching the boy. Then very slowly he nodded. Knew. Traveled fast on a space station. By morning, everyone knew about the janitor's kid who had somehow gotten the dying dragon hatchling to respond. The cafeteria buzzed with gossip. Scientists debated it over breakfast. Even the station commander called an emergency meeting. Owen sat in his father's quarters, swinging his legs nervously, while adults argued about him in the conference room down the hall. He could hear their voices through the comm system his dad had left on by accident. It's unprecedented, Dr. Solo was saying, but the fact remains that Ren showed more awareness in 10 minutes with the child than in 3 days with trained xenobiologists. The boy broke security protocols, someone else argued. We can't reward that behavior, my son thought. Someone needed help. Harold's voice cut in, defensive and tired. He was trying to be kind or not. We have procedures for a reason. Owen stopped listening. He thought about Ren's eyes, how they had looked so empty until they weren't. The dragon had listened to 2 whole stories before. Dr. Sa gently insisted Owen leave. Ren hadn't eaten anything yet, but he had stopped crying. That had to mean something. The door chimed. Owen jumped up and opened it, expecting his father. Instead, Dr. Sala stood there, her scaled face unreadable. "Come with me, please," she said. At Owen's heart hammered in his chest. Was he in trouble? Really bad trouble? He followed the doctor through the winding corridors, surprised when she led him back to the xenobiology wing, back to containment room 7. "We had a very long discussion," Dr. Sala said, stopping outside the door. The station psychologist reviewed human bonding patterns. She found some interesting research about your species' ability to form emotional connections across barriers that other species find impossible. "I don't understand the big words," Owen admitted to Dr. Saul's mouth curved into what might have been a smile. "It means humans make friends easily, even with creatures very different from you. We've decided to allow supervised visits 30 minutes each day if you want to." Owen's face lit up. Really, but there are rules. You don't touch Ren without permission. You don't bring anything that might harm him, and you do exactly what I say. Understood? "Yes, ma'am." The door opened. Ren was back in his corner, but this time his head was up, alert. When he saw Owen, the dragon made a small chirping sound. "He remembers you," Dr. Sin noted, her scientific interest clearly piqued. Owen walked slowly into the room and sat in the same spot as before. "Hey, Ren, I brought a different book today. This one is pictures." Ren crawled forward faster than yesterday. He came right up to Owen, close enough that the boy could feel warmth radiating from his scales. Dragons weren't cold-blooded like earth lizards. They burned hot inside like small furnaces. "Can I touch him?" Owen asked, looking at Dr. Sala. The doctor hesitated, then nodded gently. "Dragon scales are tough, but hatchlings are still delicate." Owen reached out his hand. Ren sniffed it carefully, then pressed his small head against the boy's palm. The scales felt smooth and warm, like sun-heated stones. Owen gently scratched behind the small horn nubs on Ren's head. The dragon's eyes closed in contentment. He made a rumbling sound deep in his chest. "That's purring," Dr. Solo whispered, amazed. "Dragon hatchlings only purr when they feel safe." Over the next week, Owen came every day, sometimes twice if his dad's shift allowed it. He read stories. He talked about his life on the station, about school, about missing his mother. Ren didn't talk back at first, just listen with those intelligent eyes. Then, one day, Ren spoke. "Brother gone," the dragon said in a small, rough voice. His words came out slow and careful, like he was translating from dragon thoughts to human language in his head. Owen sat down his book. "I know I am sorry you said, you know, empty hole feeling." "Yeah," Ren tilted his head. "How you make holes smaller?" Owen thought about this. "I don't know if it gets smaller exactly, but it hurts less when you're not alone. When you have someone who cares about you, my dad, and now maybe you." Ren considered this with a seriousness only a grieving child could muster. "I care about you. You come every day. You read stories. You don't smell like fear. Why would I be afraid of you? Many are afraid of dragons. We grow very big. We breathe fire when older. We are predators." Owen shrugged. "You're not big now, and you seem nice." This simple logic appeared to stun Ren. He moved even closer until he was pressed against Owen's side. "I'm nice," he agreed quietly. "Kane was nice too. We were going to be scientists together." Study stars and planets. Now I study. Alone, maybe you don't have to be alone. Owen said, I don't have brothers or sisters, you don't have your twin. Anymore, maybe we could keep each other. Company how? Well, we're already friends, right? Ren tested the word. Friends, yeah, and friends visit each other, they do things together, they help when one is sad. The dragon was quiet for a long moment, then he asked, what is better than friend? Owen smiled. Family, I guess, brothers and sisters, people who choose to be together. Can dragons and humans be brothers? Dr. Sala, monitoring from her corner, held her breath. This was beyond anything in her research. Dragon bonds were biological, determined before hatching. The idea of choosing a bond, especially across species, was completely foreign to their culture. Owen didn't know any of this complicated science, he just knew what felt right. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a braided cloth bracelet. His mother had made 2 of them years ago, one for Owen and one she kept after she died. His father had given him both. My mom made these, Owen said, holding up the bracelet. I have 2, brothers share things, right? Do you want one? Ren stared at the simple piece of cloth like it was the most precious thing in the galaxy. For me, if you want to be brothers. It's not a real dragon bond or anything, but it's something. Ren extended his small front leg. Owen tied the bracelet around it carefully. It fit perfectly, the blue and green threads bright against crimson scales. Brothers, Ren said softly, testing the weight of the word and the bracelet. Both. 3 weeks changed everything. Ren started eating again, small bites at first, then full meals. His scales grew brighter. He gained weight. Most importantly, he started laughing. Sound was strange and wonderful, like bells mixed with chirping, and it made everyone who heard it smile. Owen brought drawings from his art class, messy crayon pictures of spaceships and planets, and one very red dragon with a very small human standing next to it. Ren kept every single one, arranging them carefully on the walls of his room, like precious treasures. In return, Ren taught Owen about dragon culture. He sang memory songs, haunting melodies that dragons used to remember their loved ones. The songs made Owen think of his mother, and sometimes he cried, but it felt good to cry with someone who understood. We should make something for Kane, Owen suggested one afternoon. Like a memorial. Humans do that for people who die. It helps us remember them the right way. Ren's eyes widened. Dragons sing memory songs at special places, but I have no special place. Here, we can make one. Dr. Sala helped them set up a small space in the corner of Ren's room. Owen drew pictures of what he imagined Kane looked like based on Ren's descriptions. Ren sang the traditional songs. Together they created something that was part human, part dragon, and entirely theirs. School became easier for Owen too. Before, he had eaten lunch alone, the other kids ignoring the janitor's son. Now everyone wanted to talk to him. They asked about Ren constantly. Most were just curious, but some were genuinely interested. There was one kid, though, a boy named Peter, whose parents were high scientists who didn't like Owen's new popularity. It's just a fancy pet, Peter announced loudly in the cafeteria. One day, my mom says dragons aren't even that smart. They just memorize things and pretend. Owen's hands clenched into fists. Ren's not a pet. He's my friend. Your friend? Peter laughed. Dude, it's An animal. It probably doesn't even understand half of what you say to it. He understands everything. He's smarter than you, whatever, but he can't even really talk, probably just trained to say a few words, something hot and angry boiled up in Owen's chest before he could think. He was shoving Peter hard. Peter shoved back, then they were fighting, really fighting, rolling on the cafeteria floor while other kids shouted and teachers rushed over. Owen ended up with a black eye and a bloody nose. Peter had a split lip. Both got detention. Harold had to leave work early to pick up his son from the principal's office. Want to tell me what that was about? Harold asked as they walked home. Owen explained, his words tumbling out fast and angry. He called Ren a pet, Dad, like he's some kind of stupid animal that just does tricks. But Ren's not like that. He's my brother. Harold stopped walking. Your brother? Yeah. Owen's defiant expression wavered. Is that weird? Harold was quiet for a long moment. He thought about the past few weeks, watching his son smile again for the first time since his mother died, watching him have purpose and joy and someone to care about. No, son, it's not weird at all. When they reached the xenobiology wing for Owen's evening visit, Ren immediately noticed the black eye. The dragon's head snapped up, his nostrils flaring. You are hurt. Who hurt you? Just a kid at school. It's fine. Not fine. Ren's voice took on a hard edge that Owen had never heard before. Tell me who. Owen sat down and told the whole story. As he talked, Ren began pacing, his tail lashing back and forth. Small wisps of smoke curled from his nostrils. This Peter child is wrong, Ren declared. I'm not a pet. I am a dragon of the Flame Wing clan. My ancestors were star mappers and void walkers. I have memorized 17,000 star patterns and can calculate jump coordinates in my head. He paused, then added more softly, and I am your brother. That is most important. I know you are, Owen said. That's why I hit him. You defended me. Of course I did. That's what brothers do. Ren stopped pacing. He came over and very gently pressed his head against Owen's uninjured side. I would defend you too. If I could go to your school, I would. Breathe fire on this, Peter. Please don't actually do that. Small fire just to scare him. Owen laughed despite his sore face. You can't breathe fire yet anyway. You're too young. I am practicing, Ren said seriously. Watch. He took a deep breath and exhaled hard. A few sparks came out along with more smoke. See, in 1 year, maybe 2, I will breathe real fire. Then no one will call me a pet. Dr. Sala, who had been observing from her station, made a note on her data pad. Ren's development was accelerating. Healthy young dragons his age could barely produce smoke. The bond with Owen appeared to be helping him grow stronger, faster. That night after Owen went home, Dr. Saul filed her weekly report. She wrote about the unprecedented cross-species bond forming between human child and dragon hatchling. She noted Ren's remarkable recovery and Owen's improved social engagement. She recommended continuing the supervised visits indefinitely. What she didn't know was that her report would be read by officials far beyond the research station, would be discussed in dragon clan councils light years away, would raise questions about a hatchling bonding with a human instead of his own kind. Back in his quarters, Owen fell asleep holding his own bracelet, the twin to the one Ren wore. He dreamed of flying through space on a dragon's back, chasing stars together, In the xenobiology wing, Ren curled up at his nest, the blue and green bracelet visible on his leg for the first time. Since Cain died, he didn't dream of loss. He dreamed of tomorrow when his brother would visit again, and they would be together 2 months into their brotherhood. Something unexpected happened. Harold got permission for Owen to sleep over in the xenobiology wing on weekend nights. Dr. Solace set up a small cot next to Ren's resting area, and the two brothers could stay up late, talking about everything and nothing. "Tell me about Earth," Ren said one Saturday night, his eyes gleaming in the dim light. "Your real home planet." "I've never been there," Owen admitted. "I was born on a cargo ship, then we moved here when I was 4, but you were human. Earth is your ancestral home. Like the flame peaks are mine." Owen thought about this. "I guess," Dad says. "Earth is beautiful, blue oceans and green forests, but it's really crowded. That's why so many humans live in space. Now, do you want to go there someday? Maybe. Do you want to go to the flame peaks?" Ren was quiet. "I'm supposed to want that. All dragons return to the peaks eventually, but I have never been there. Cain and I were born here on this station. Our parents are scientists like yours would have been if she lived." They lay in comfortable silence for a while. Then Ren asked, "Owen, what does a mother do?" The question hurt, but in a good way, like touching a healing bruise. "Lots of things. My mom used to sing to me. She made up funny voices. When reading stories, she always knew when I was sad, even if I tried to hide it." Owen smiled at the ceiling. "She gave really good hugs. I do not think dragons hug the same way humans do. Probably not, but that's okay. We can make our own way of doing things," and they did. Over the following weeks, Owen and Ren created their own traditions. Every morning, Owen would greet Ren by touching their foreheads together. Every evening, Ren would hum a soft melody. While Owen fell asleep, they shared meals. Even though their foods were completely different, they made up games that combined human rules with dragon instincts. One game involved Ren hiding small objects around his room. While Owen searched for them, Ren's dragon senses made him incredibly good at hiding things in places human eyes would miss. Owen learned to think differently, to look for the logical dragon solution instead of the obvious human one. Dr. Solid documented everything. Her reports attracted attention from researchers across the galaxy. Some were supportive, fascinated by this proof of cross-species emotional bonding. Others were critical, calling it unnatural or dangerous. 1. Scientist, a dragon elder named Tesh, requested permission to visit the station. She arrived on a cold Tuesday morning, her scales a deep purple that spoke of great age and wisdom. Dr. Sala greeted her nervously. "I must see this hatchling who has supposedly bonded with a human," Tesh said, her voice like gravel and thunder. Owen was in class when Tesh arrived at the xenobiology wing. Ren was practicing his star calculations, a common dragon meditation technique, when the elder entered his room. "Hatchling," Tesh said formally. "I am Tesh of the Star Singer clan. I have come to help you through your grief." Ren looked up surprised. "My grief? Your twin loss is a terrible wound, but I have helped many dragons survive such tragedy. With proper traditional counseling, you can return to your people and live among your own kind." "I'm living with my own kind," Ren said carefully. "My brother will be here soon, after his learning time ends." Tesh's eyes narrowed. You speak of the human child. That is not brotherhood. Hatchling, that is confusion. Grief has made you attached to an inappropriate substitute. Wren's scales rippled a sign of agitation. Owen is not a substitute. He is my brother by choice. Dragons do not choose bonds. We are born with them. Then maybe dragons have been doing it wrong. The elder drew back, shocked. No hatchling had ever spoken to her with such certainty. You do not understand what you're saying. This human will live perhaps 90 years if he is lucky. You will live thousands. Well, he is dust. You'll still be young. How can you bond with something so temporary? All things are temporary, Wren said quietly. Cain was my twin, and he died at 3 years old. Tom does not matter. What matters is now, and now Owen is my brother. Before Tesh could respond, the door opened. Owen rushed in, having been told about the visitor. He saw Wren's agitated stance and immediately went to his brother's side. Are you okay? Owen asked. I am now, Wren said, pressing close to the boy. Tesh watched this interaction carefully. She saw how the hatchling's breathing calmed when the human arrived, how the boy's hand automatically went to stroke Wren's scales in a soothing pattern, how they stood together, a united front despite their vast biological differences. Show me your bond, Tesh said suddenly. If it is real, show me. Owen looked confused. Ow, tell me something only brothers would know about each other. Wren went first. Owen has nightmares about his mother on the 17th of each month. That is the day she died. He pretends he is fine, but I can smell the salt from his tears. So on the 16th I always request his overnight visit. That way he is not alone when the sad day comes. Owen's eyes widened. He had known. Wren noticed that pattern. My turn, Owen said. Wren counts to 17 before he eats every meal. 17 was Cain's lucky number. He's keeping his brother's memory alive in small ways that no one else sees. And when he thinks I'm asleep, he sings the saddest songs, songs about missing someone. But lately the songs have changed. They're still about missing Cain, but also about being grateful for second chances. Tesh was silent for a long time. Finally she said, this is not what I expected. What did you expect? Owen asked. I expected to find a grieving hatchling clinging to false comfort. Instead I find two children who truly see each other. She looked at Wren directly. Your bond may not be biological, hatchling, but appears to be real. Wren lifted his head proudly. I told you. However, Tesh continued, real or not, your biological family has been notified of Cain's death. They are coming to bring you home. The words hit like a physical blow. Owen felt his stomach drop. Wren's scales turned pale, the color draining from them in shock. When Wren whispered, 3 days, your mother Vera has already begun the journey. She wants you to grieve properly among your own kind in the traditional ways. After Tesh left, Owen and Wren sat in stunned silence. Finally Owen spoke. Maybe it won't be so bad. Maybe your mom will understand about us. You do not know Dragon Clan mothers, Wren said miserably. They are fierce and traditional. Vera will see you as a distraction from proper dragon ways. She will take me to the Flame Peaks, and I will never see you again. We could run away. Where? This is a space station. There is nowhere to run. But Owen couldn't accept that. He spent the next 2 days trying everything. He wrote a letter to Vera explaining their Brotherhood, Dr. Sala agreed to include it in our briefing materials, though she didn't look hopeful. Harold tried to find legal precedents for cross-species custody. There were none. The other station residents heard about the situation. Many had grown fond of watching the unlikely brothers together. A petition started circulating, signed by dozens of different species, all arguing that Wren should be allowed to stay. Owen stopped sleeping. He couldn't eat. The thought of losing Wren felt like losing his mother all over again. Worse. Maybe because this time he could see it coming and was powerless to stop it. Wren wasn't eating either. His scales dulled again. Dr. Solo worried he might slip back into his previous grief state, but this time compounded by losing both his twin and his chosen brother. On the morning of the third day, Vera arrived. She was magnificent and terrifying. 3 times Wren's size, with scales like polished rubies and eyes that burned. With intelligence and authority, she swept through the station with a delegation of Dragon Clan representatives, all formal and intimidating. Owen watched from behind his father as Vera entered the observation room where Wren waited. Mother Dragon's expression was stern as she looked at her surviving son. Wren, she said, her voice was deep and resonant. You have grown, Mother. Wren's voice was small. I have come to take you home, to help you grieve your brother properly, as our people have done for thousands of years. Vera's eyes swept the room, landing on Owen. And to remove you from inappropriate attachments. Owen is not inappropriate, Wren said quietly. He is my brother. He's a human child. You are Dragon. This confusion must end. It is not confusion. Vera's scales rippled with frustration. Hatchling, you do not understand. Twin loss is a wound that requires specific healing. The clan elders, the memory pools, the ancestral songs, these are what you need, not games with an alien child. Owen stepped forward, his legs shaking but his voice steady. Mrs. Verum, can I say something? Harold tried to pull him back, but Owen shook his head. He walked right up to the massive dragon, tiny in comparison, but unwavering. I know you love Wren. I know you want what's best for him, but 3 months ago he was dying, not from disease, from sadness. Your traditional ways didn't help him. The clan elders and memory pools and ancestral songs, they didn't reach him. Vera's eyes narrowed dangerously. And you did. I didn't mean to. I just saw someone hurting and I wanted to help. We helped each other. Owen's voice cracked. I lost my mom. Wren lost Cain. We understood each other's pain, and together we found a way to keep living, a temporary way. Human lifespans are nothing to dragons. What happens when you die of old age? And my son must grieve again. Owen had thought about this. Of course he had. It terrified him, but he answered honestly, I don't know, maybe it will hurt. But isn't it better to have someone for whatever time you get than to be alone? Because you're afraid of future pain. You speak like a child. I'm a child, so is Wren, and right now we need each other. Vera looked at her son, really looked at him. She saw the bracelet on his leg, worn and treasured. She saw how he stood close to the human boy, drawing strength from his presence. She saw that his scales, while dulled by current stress, were healthier than they had been in the reports from 3 months ago. Wren, she said, if I take you home, will you come willingly? The question hung in the air. Everyone held their breath. Wren looked at Owen. The boy's Eyes were wet with tears he was trying hard not to shed. Then Ren looked at his mother, the fierce dragon who had flown across stars to retrieve him. No, Ren said simply, I will not come willingly. You can force me. You are bigger and stronger, and I must obey clan law, but I will not pretend I want to leave my brother. Vera's tail lashed once, a sign of deep emotion. You would choose this human over your own blood. My blood, mother, I love you, but Owen is my heart kin. Cain was my twin bond. By birth, Owen is my brother bond by choice. Both are real, both matter. This is not how dragons do things. Then maybe, Ren said, his voice gaining strength, it is time dragons learned a new way. The room fell silent. The dragon delegation looked shocked. Dr. Sala frantically took notes. Harold held his breath. Vera stared at her son for a long moment, and she did something unexpected. She laughed. It was a sound like distant thunder, powerful and genuine. You have your father's stubbornness, she said, and apparently your mother's inability to do anything the easy way. She turned to Owen. Human child, look at me. Owen met her gaze, though it took all his courage. You swear you will care for my son, honor his dragon nature while teaching him your human ways. I swear, Owen said immediately. And when the time comes that you are old and he is still young, you'll help him find others to bond with so he is not alone. Owen hadn't thought that far ahead, but he nodded. I promise. Vera sighed, smoke curling from her nostrils. Then I suppose we have much to discuss. Negotiations took 2 full days. Lawyers, diplomats, and clan elders weighed in. Vera insisted on certain conditions. Harold had his own requirements. Dr. Sala provided medical and psychological testimony. Through it all, Owen and Ren waited together, refusing to be separated, even for meals. That in the end, they reached an agreement that satisfied no one completely, but gave everyone what they needed most. Ren would stay on the station with Owen and Harold, but he would also maintain regular contact with his dragon family through video calls and yearly visits. He would study dragon culture and history alongside his human education. When he was older, he would spend summers at the Flame Peaks, learning traditional dragon skills. Harold officially became Ren's legal guardian, with Vera as cultural advisor and co-parent. It was unprecedented. Galactic law. The paperwork alone took 3 lawyers and a brand new category in the station's database. You understand, Vera said to Harold during the final signing, that dragons live very long lives. You are taking on a responsibility that will outlast you. I understand, Harold said, but my son loves him and Ren loves my son. That's enough for me. Vera studied the human janitor. You are braver than you look. I'm a single father raising a kid on a space station. Brave is kind of required. Despite herself, Vera's mouth curved into a smile. 6 months after the negotiations ended, life found a new rhythm. Owen's 10th birthday arrived, and they decided to celebrate with both human and dragon traditions. The cafeteria was decorated with streamers and balloons, typical human party fare. But in one corner, Ren had created a small fire pit where he performed a traditional dragon coming-of-age flame dance. He was still too young to breathe real fire, but he had gotten very good at controlling his sparks and smoke. The effect was beautiful. Harold made a human birthday cake. Vera, attending via hologram from the Flame Peaks, had sent Special dragon crystals that were supposed to bring good fortune. Other station residents brought gifts, even Peter, the boy who had called Renipit, showed up with an apology and a model spaceship kit. I was wrong, Peter mumbled, not quite meeting Owen's eyes. Ren's pretty cool. Sorry I was a jerk. Owen accepted the apology. Ren, feeling generous, showed Peter how dragons calculated jump coordinates, which led to an hour-long discussion about astronavigation that left both boys' heads spinning as the party wound down. Owen and Ren slipped away to the observation deck. It had become their special place, somewhere they could watch the stars and talk about everything. I got you something, Owen said, pulling out a small package. It's not much. Inside was a hand-bound book. Owen had spent months working on it. Each page contained a story, some human fairy tale, some dragon legends, some completely made-up adventures starring a boy and a dragon exploring the galaxy. Together, Ren turned the pages carefully, his eyes wide. You made this? Yeah. I wanted you to have stories that were ours, not just human or just dragon, but both. It is perfect, Ren said softly. Then he brightened. I have something for you, too. He reached under his wing and pulled out a small carved stone. It was a deep red crystal shaped and polished by dragon claws into an intricate pattern. In dragon culture, such carvings were given only to family members of the highest importance. This is a heartstone, Ren explained. In dragon tradition, you give it to someone you would die to protect, someone who is part of your soul. Owen took the stone carefully. It was warm, almost hot to the touch. Ren, this is amazing. You're my brother, not by blood or birth, by choice. That is stronger than anything. They sat in comfortable silence, watching stars streak past the station. After a while, Owen said, do you ever think about what happens when we're older, when I'm grown up and you're still young sometimes, but not in a scared way anymore? You will always be my brother, even when you are old and wrinkled. I'll be very wrinkled. Humans get super wrinkly. I will still know you. Dragon memory is very good. Owen smiled. And when I'm gone, you'll find other people to care about. That's what we promised your mom. Maybe, but no one will ever be my first human brother. That place is only yours. They heard footsteps behind them. Harold and Vera's hologram approached, the unlikely co-parents united by their love for their children. There you are, Harold said. We've been looking everywhere. We just wanted to see the stars. Owen explained that Vera's hologram shimmered. Ren, your father sends his greetings. He wants to schedule a call next week. I will be there, Ren promised. Then he added, Mother, thank you for letting me stay. Vera's expression softened. You're happy here. How could I argue with that? Besides, you are teaching the dragon clans something important. What's that? That family is not always about blood. Sometimes it is about choice, and sometimes the bravest choice is to love someone different from yourself. Harold cleared his throat. It's late. You two should get to bed. Can Ren sleep in my room tonight? Owen asked. It's my birthday. I suppose that's acceptable, Harold said, though his tone suggested it had already become a regular occurrence. As they walked back to the residential quarters, Ren asked, Owen, what do you want to do tomorrow? Dr. Solis said she might let us help with her star mapping project. Perfect. We can use my navigation calculations, and I can handle the human interface stuff. We make a good team. The best team, Owen agreed. Behind them, Harold and Vera's hologram. Exchange a glance. The Dragon Mother spoke first. They're going to change the galaxy. These two probably, Harold said. They've already changed it a little bit. Indeed, a human and a dragon, brothers. By choice, who would have imagined such a thing? I think, Harold said, watching his son walk beside his dragon brother. Both of them laughing about something. Only they understood. That's exactly the point. No one imagined it, they just did it. And in doing so, they proved that the strongest bonds are not the ones determined by biology or tradition, but the ones built by choice, nurtured by kindness, and sustained by love that sees past all differences to the heart of what really matters. That in the cycles to come, their story would spread across the galaxy. Other unlikely friendships would form, inspired by the boy and the dragon who became brothers. But for now, in this moment, they were simply Owen and Ren heading home together, ready for whatever adventures tomorrow might